Let's talk about double wedding ring quilts. I've bought and sold over 10,000 quilts, and here are over 150 different variations of different double wedding ring quilts. This timeless classic is always a favorite. As I scroll through all of these photos, I know what catches my eye, but I would love to hear in the comments what is your favorite style or color scheme for a double wedding ring quilt. So a little history before we dive into looking at all these different styles and colors. The first double wedding ring quilts appeared in the US in the early 1900s. They have always been a symbol of love and romance with their intertwining rings symbolizing marriage. These quilts are often handed down between generations as wedding presents. Even though this quilt pattern didn't appear here in America until the early 1900s, the interlocking rings can date back to the 15th century. They symbolize rings worn by a man and a woman during their engagement and were then connected together after they were married. It was called the geminal ring. So I am not a quilter myself, but I know the difficulty that comes with sewing curved pieces. So this type of quilt is also a little more of a challenge to make than many other classic patterns, and I also don't feel like it is a pattern that is made as much these days. So let's dive into some of my favorite romantic quilts. So we'll start with these two that I have right here. These are just two I have in my possession. This one is currently available and for sale. You have these interlocking rings that go around. And so a lot of them have these different, a square block connecting them, and most of them are two colors like this. Some are solid, but most are like this. And then most of them are full of a lot of different fabrics to make the ring parts. And then a lot of quilters will use the big open section like this as a chance for some different quilting design. So as you can see here, they have used this open space to do some different quilting patterns. And most people for double wedding rings will just outline for their quilting this part, which gives it a lot of quilt crinkle, and then this part will be more of like a nice intricate design. So now we're gonna scroll through and look at a lot of different wedding rings that I have found over the past 6 years. So here we have your classic double wedding ring. You got more pastel colors, the detailed quilting in the white spaces. This is a good one. Here's another just classic one. You've got purple and a different shade of purple for your connecting blocks. So here's one where you have green as your main background color. These are the ones I don't love as much, but they still have a place. And some people really like these. Oh, and here's another one with a bright blue. Definitely not a favorite. So here's one. I've seen this one several times. I don't know if it's a kit or just a store-bought like Cracker Barrel type quilt. I actually feel like my grandmother had this quilt. And here's another one that is on pink. I actually like this one though. They did a good job. Look at all that detailed quilting work. This is beautiful. I love these shades of color. So also my goal with this, I hope, is to give you guys some inspiration of different color schemes people use. I mean, this is a lot of different quilts to look through, and so I hope it's inspiration for you. It always is for me every time I go through it. Look at this one with the different shades of green. Love this. Here's just another classic. This one has so much quilting. It had such a good feel to it. You can just tell by looking at it. So this one, you can see the circle isn't as circular. It's got a more squarish look to it, but it's still the same double wedding ring pattern. Ooh, this one's kind of cool, even though it's your color background with that shade of kind of a blue genie blue with your bright fabrics. This is a really good one. I love, so I kind of like the ones where the connecting 4 square block is just different fabrics on each one. I think it's fun. So this one, you can kind of see some wedding rings are kind of skinnier. This is definitely a more skinny looking one than your thicker. There's also some of them have fewer fabrics in the rings, and some have a lot of smaller sections of fabrics. This is a really good one. This one's kind of different. You can see there's kind of some space in that 4 block. It's kind of more like, I don't know, the blocks are not perfect squares, but it kind of like goes with the flow maybe of the arching curved lines. This one was nice. It kind of has a fall feel to it. So this one had an orange background. Here's just another classic. I feel like this, like yellow and green, or there was a lot of purple. I don't know if it was like something, I don't know. I just find a lot that were very similar. This one is very light pastel, maybe a store-bought. So this is kind of more of a close-up picture, but it you can see like every arch has kind of more pieces than some. There's just skinnier little slivers of fabric, which I like. I mean, the more fabric you have, or not fabric, the more pieces you have, the more quilting you have, just overall better quality quilt that it is, in my opinion. Well, this one's fun, so it's just 2 different colors. So that's kind of a fun take on a wedding ring quilt. And it also, the connecting block is just 1 big square instead of your 4 blocks, which is different. So here's, you know, your 4 block example. This is a really lovely one. This one's a little brighter colors, and your connecting block is just white fabric. Another brighter one. This one has a lot of quilting, so I love this. So each block is outlined with quilting, and then you've got your quilting design in the white section. Ooh, look at that quilting design. Do you see that in the white? That's really beautiful. I love that. This one has a lot of quilting. You can see like in the pink and blue, like all those lines. It just, the more quilting you have, the more quilt crinkle you have, the cozier the quilt you'll have. This was some pretty light pastel colors. This one's kind of fun and different. I love this one. Like I said, I think my favorite are these with the kind of patchworky more look. Here's a yellow background, and I kind of like too how they just did the grid in the middle too. It's simpler. So I like this. It kind of has a blue and yellow kind of color scheme, but also has more neutrals and some other colors mixed in, but you can kind of get that hint of all the same colors throughout. Ooh, I love this one. Look at these colors and these fabrics. This is a good one. They did a good job pairing those fabrics. Here's another of those yellow and purple. Here's some more purple. Purples, I feel like, I notice purple a lot. I mean, you can even see that here in the one I have. It's purple and yellow. This was a good one. I remember this one. I had it recently. This one was kind of a light yellow, which is pretty. This one was yellow. You see yellow kind of often. I like the white and blue connecting 4 squares, though. Those are really nice. Look at that yellow gingham and those florals. I like these closer up pictures. You can see them a lot better. So this one, some of these wedding rings still have a different solid color in this like center of the interlocking rings, which is different. It just, all these are different variations of the same pattern. Wow, this one's fun. Look at these brighter, like I can feel a hint of red popping out, and some brighter blues. Look at those fabrics, there's like little dogs. Ooh, this one you can really see the quilting design, which is nice, and kind of looks like maybe skinnier rings too. I love this one with the pops of blue throughout. This one's different, so it's kind of, you got your same color, like every 2 fabrics, and then your interlocking have a different shade in between. Wow, this one was really good. I remember this one. This was a high quality quilt. There was a lot of quilting throughout. It's kind of harder to see that it's zoomed out, but trust me, it's really good. I just love this where you can see the quilting design really pops, because a lot of work, a lot of work goes into piecing, but a lot of work goes into quilting each piece as well. So this one, actually, I think is this quilt that I have here. So stretched out, stunning. It is super vibrant. Look at all those pieces and different fabrics. This one is very well made too. You can see it's really good circles. It doesn't have, you know, that more squarish look, but the really good round circles. So this one's fun. It's just white and yellow. It's pretty unique. Wow, I love these. So I like pastel, but I also really like these brighter ones. Here's another fun one on pink. This one just has a really fun, playful feel to it. Just more of these classic, I feel like this green and pink and purple and green and purple and yellow were very popular. This one had a lot of quilting. You can just see all the quilt crinkle. I like how they just did kind of some curved quilting lines in each arch. This one's fun. So they use, instead of a solid for the 4 square blocks, the same pattern fabrics. So it's still got a patchworky feel, but the same throughout. I like that. So as much as I like nice quilting design, I always love just a good straight line. I love the diagonal quilting. So here we have just your white 4 square blocks. So this, you can just see the difference in some of these in the quality. Like this is a really good, well-made quilt, but it just isn't as like round. It's more, kind of has a, It's like a square that's been really curved in on the edges. This is another really good one. I love that blue and red pairing, and it just pairs really well to the fabrics I chose for the rings. This one is really nice. I love the lighter tones in this one. I like the green and the white. It just gives it a softer feel. This one also has a really soft feel to it. I love these colors. This one has a lot of white throughout, which I like. I'm always a fan of whites and quilts. This one was a really good quality in the stitching and the quilting. Man, those are some really good fabrics. We'll just leave this here for a second. Like, look at these fabrics. Some of those florals. I love this. This one is very patchworky. I love that, with the 4 squares being different fabrics. Some good polka dot fabrics too. This one has a lot of quilting. You can see just that perfect quilt crinkle in it. Ooh, this one, I like that, the color scheme in that. So this one's different. So you have just solid rings, which you don't see very often. It just gives it a completely different vibe. This one, I don't know if they did the best job pairing fabrics here. The red and black doesn't really go with the more pastel, so I'm not sure what they were going for there. Wow, I love that light white and pink together. That's a good pairing. So this one has a lot of white throughout. I really like the colors. Ooh, this one's like orange and a floral. Ooh, I love this one, has a good fall vibe. Those are some really good color pairings. So this is different. It's just your 2 colors, solid rings. Wow, I kind of love the busyness of this one. We haven't seen too many of these in a while, but this is like got that blue background, which really pops more than the rings, or it makes the rings stand out more. This one's really good, really busy, but I love the patchworkiness of it. This one has your different colors in those interlocking rings, which is different. Ooh, I love this one. This one's fun. It's your every other color, solid pattern, solid pattern, solid pattern. So here, this one kind of has an overall pink theme, so that's kind of fun and different. So this is a good one. It has good round circles with not a squarish effect to them. You can kind of see the 4 squares kind of have like, they're not perfect square. And it has some really good quilting design in it. So this is kind of what you get a look if you just use solid fabrics. I prefer pattern fabrics. Ooh, that's kind of nice background color. Ooh, this one is very bright with some skinnier lines. There's an orange background one. Oh, and here's a green. So this one, like, I don't love these as much, but this is a very statement quilt. I mean, look at that. It's a really good quilt. So the theme I noticed was more pastel, lighter colors on a white, off-white background. I also personally love those, but I also love the ones with brighter fabrics, but most double wedding ring quilts on white are always going to be my favorite, and I don't love the ones on a color as much. So comment below and tell me which ones you prefer. So if you loved today's video, please like below, and if you want to see more videos about different patterns, please subscribe. Thanks so much.